The idea of death as an inevitable possibility of the tragic lifestyle is a major underlying theme of my film, and this is why I intended to film a motif inspired by my research into surrealism and the idea of detached oniric imagery that relies on symbolism. I won't reveal the result of this motif yet, but, in its first instance, it would have shown a woman rising from her chair when she hears the door knock and wandering over to answer it, before the screen fades to black. Progressing on to the topic of my film, the shots you are about to see throughout this film are images of nature that show both its beauty and its destruction by the world around us, with this use of the camera mirroring the cathartic techniques of Yasujiro Ozu, and serving as an attempt to use imagery to reinforce the themes of my film and its three short tragedies: id, ego, and superego. I hope that this film can serve as an interesting and atypical work of surrealism that you will all enjoy. Yet here's a spot. Hark, she speaks. I will set down what comes from her, to satisfy my remembrance the more strongly. Out, damned spot! Out, I say! 1, 2, why then 'tis time to do it. Hell is murky. Fie, my lord, fie, a soldier and a feared. What need we fear who knows it, when none can call our power to account? Yet who would have thought the old man to have had so much blood in him? Cut! An excellent performance as always. I think this will be a great film. It's always good to have an Oscar-winning actress. Do you know what role you'll do next? Well, I'd like to take whatever role I find interesting, to be honest. Even if it doesn't bring me tons of money, I'm happier with a role that I genuinely enjoy. Does seem sometimes, Miss Andrews, that you still don't understand how the business of acting actually works. You and I both work for financial gain. It's the purpose of cinema. Critical acclaim is merely an icing on the cake. I guess you've just been lucky because you received both in what is still a young career. Well, that being said, I am grateful for your skills. You truly bring a sense of unparalleled idealism and poeticism to your performances, almost as if you are a silent film actress. Your dialogue relies not on the dialogue itself, but on raw emotion and expression. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Wallace. It's no problem at all, my dear. I will see you later for dinner. Come with me, Anthony. We must discuss the editing process. Well, do you want to go out for lunch then? Yeah, that'd be great, Sharon. So, what do you think of the film so far? Best Shakespeare adaptation yet for you or not? Definitely not, but it's still fun. However, I prefer more fateful adaptations. Oh, this is great, isn't it? Yeah, really great. So is the critical reception good, or is it just a lively atmosphere? Both. If I may interrupt, Andrews and McIntyre, I'd like to ask both of you if you'd be up to star in my next film. Anthony has a very ambitious vision to create a film based around the perspective, and the plan is that he will film it, I will direct, and you two will star. May I ask, Mr. Wallace, why me in particular? I played a minor role in your last film, so... Yes, and you were absolutely outstanding, which is why we're both eager to promote your excellent acting skills to the world. Wow, thank you very much. No need. Thanks goes to you. And you as well, of course, Andrews. Well, me and Wallace have to go, but we'll see you at the party later. Goodbye. Bye. Wow, Martha, that really is amazing, isn't it? Simulate the 90-second montage that I intended to create here of the duo going on tour and growing increasingly apart through a series of shots of them distancing from each other on the same bed. The following section of footage is purposely stressful and disorientating. Go! Angelina, why must we quarrel over something so stupid? Mother, my education is important. Yes, but what, Mother? You can't stop me here. I need to show who I am. I can't do that, sir, if I don't go to university. I deserve what any man deserves in this corrupt world. It seems like you're just jealous because your opportunities were much more limited. Now look here, Angelina. Cut! Excellent, McIntyre. Let's take a quick break, girls, so we can film this supporting scene. Seems like both our careers are really kicking off. Soon you and I might be getting roles beyond critical acclaim. We might actually be into proper blockbusters. What do you think, Martha? Martha? Well, yeah, maybe. But yet again, maybe not. Don't do that, Martha. Please. Don't. Martha. No. No. No! No, Martha, no. Explain what you would have seen next in this film. The following footage is intended to create the same feeling of melancholy that should have been evoked from this final scene, where Sharon screams before awaking from her dream and staring into the mirror inside of her house, which is notably small and full of drugs, a chilling juxtaposition of realism against the idealism of this intersection that has been crushed. For the second time in the film, this is where I would have placed the motif again, and, as I would have done had I actually made the film as initially intended, the motif would have been repeated just the same, revealing no more and no less than in its first appearance. What is cinema? What is art? Is cinema art? Can cinema provoke meaning? These are all questions that befall the average director, and in fact often alarm them, because it is a difficult question to answer. It's controlled by subjectivity and individualism. The individual's calling and his own opinions are essential for how a film is perceived, and whether it becomes art. I'm of the personal opinion that very few films have done so. Sunrise, Aguirre, 2001, Man for Movie Camera, Persona, and none beyond those. That is, until now. Today we are here to fulfill my vision, and that is a vision of art and cinema. In my work, my magnum opus, such concepts are dependent on each other. I may have only made blockbusters before, but this film is different. I now have control. I am the individual, and my subjective opinions are making this film objectively art. For the next 3 months we will be filming Will I Be the Hero of My Own Life in this mansion, so that it can definitely become art, because I believe that if we immerse ourselves in a situation that is similar to the premise, my film can be as powerful and as realistic as possible. The plot is a personal one to me, as it aligns to my interests and the principles I have promoted vehemently throughout my life as a form of resistance. I came from a family that was socially conservative and exclusionary, but I myself had and still have the beating heart of a lion, as a valiant supporter of the people and the left-wing leanings of the arts. By making this film, I hope to criticise the foundations of our capitalist society, by using the life of a fictional family to show how capitalism leads to nothing but inevitable corruption and decay. This film is my life work, and I truly hope that we can all work together to make it a masterpiece. Therefore, we will live it out to prove that it works. Any questions? Excuse me, Mr. Smith, but whatever it is, Gladstone, we don't have time. I must film this scene before it's too late. We're already behind on schedules. Please just go away. Mr. Smith, I'm feeling incredibly ill. I think my withdrawal symptoms are worsening. I therefore don't think I'm in the best state to carry out a performance to a good standard. Look, Gladstone, I know that your health is important to you, and that it is of the utmost importance that you are satisfied with your performance. However, as I said before, cinema is an art controlled by the individual, and art can only be achieved by that individual. I am that individual. You're not. And if you don't do what I say, you'll be fired, and this comeback that I offered you will have all been for nothing. Absolutely nothing. Understood? Yes, sir. You want to begin the scene then, sir? Yes. Go! So, darling, what time do we need to leave to attend the gala tonight? 8 p.m, I believe. It starts late and continues throughout the night. I hope that we will enjoy it. I'm sure that it will be absolutely spectacular. Just hopefully that crazy brother of mine can be trusted to spend a few hours alone. True crank he is, carrying such left-wing nonsense around him everywhere. He should understand his place and his morals. There is never a way in which Marxism can work, especially if its representatives are as disorientated as he is. Well, why can't we take him with us?
He just went that way.
Don't make me laugh, darling. I'll call him down to tell him our plans then, shall I? Roderick, come down, brother. Well, Roderick, how are you, good brother? I'm good. Why did you call me? God, somebody help him, quickly. Oh God. What do you think you're trying to pull, Gladstone? What? You're trying to ruin my production. Why? Mr. Smith, I don't want to be rude, but I think you're misunderstanding the situation here. I just collapsed because I'm ill. I know this isn't what you wanted, but it is what it is. I'm fed up of believing such crap. I'm not just going to just sit here and let you destroy my magnum opus. This is what I've been working for since I began my career. I'm not going to let a drug-fueled shit like you destroy it by wrecking my fucking film. You think you're it, don't you? You think the whole world revolves around you and that everyone else's opinion is irrelevant because you're here. You think you're the best director that I've ever worked with, and it's the greatest film I've ever been in, because your ego complex means that you think it's some revolutionary form of art. The truth is that what you're making is a load of pretentious dog shit, one of the worst things I've ever done. Your terrible persona is going to destroy my career. So if you want, we can continue to make this rubbish film, or we can face reality, and you can let us all go, so you can return to being a studio sycophant, and we can return to working in jobs that will actually earn us money and critical acclaim. Understood? You bastard! Oh God! Get him off! Get on! Get on! Oh God! Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh, the fuck is wrong with you? Oh. Sitting in the room of the manor house, Smith picks up the phone and answers it to hear news from Anthony regarding the future of his film and his man production. Ashwood and Pebson aren't returning to set, and Gladstone will be pressing charges for assault, meaning I'm sorry, Derek, but production is officially over. Understand. The section ends with Derek wandering into the bathroom of one of the rooms at the manor house. As a thematic parallel to the previous section, the mirror motif returns to emphasize Derek's role as the hero. Such a position is reinforced by his action of staring guiltily into the mirror before punching it. It shatters to pieces as the screen fades to black, a symbol of his hermetic ambition and the failure of his ego. For the third time in the film, this is where I would have placed the motif again, and as I would have done had I actually made the film as initially intended, the motif would have been repeated just the same, revealing no more and no less than in its first and second appearances. But it will be revealed soon. This final section takes place 15 years after the previous segment. Anthony has become incredibly poor and is taking refuge from the police due to criminal connections. This final section shows him attempting to work from home via an online anonymous job, with the section beginning as he lays out his plan to 14-year-old son Ben and wife Edith. sort things out. How exactly? I can get this job as a computer scientist that I can complete from home and do anonymously, meaning I can earn this money without ever having to reveal my identity. Or risk leaving this house and being killed by those dirtbags. Yeah, and you've got the qualifications for a computer science job. Actually, I do. My original degree was computer science, back when I first moved here. Well, if you say so, whatever is best. But how do you remain anonymous when you're showing them your qualification? Fuck. You're right. Well, I guess things couldn't get any worse. Anthony, you know that me and Ben were fine when you were always travelling and never here. I can get a job again. You've been here so rarely that Ben doesn't even seem to really know who you are. In fact, I think he almost resents you for the lack of a fatherly role you played in his life. I'm aware. That is why I need to help you two. I can't just sit here and act like nothing's ever happened. I'll do anything. Just so I can help the both of you. You can finally forgive me. Guilt controls me. And it's going to linger as long as you don't allow me to help you. If you want to help us, Dad, I know what you should do. You should go face those criminal assholes and demand the money back. I know it's something that fills you with fear, but you can't avoid it. You're going to have to do it sooner or later, so you might as well do it now and help us in the long run. The truth is, Dad, that you're a coward, and you're only going to seem more and more of a coward to me if you don't get off your ass and prove you really love us. Ben, how dare you say such a thing? I understand your resentment, but surely you wouldn't want your father to show his love for something like that. It's suicide. Well, it would benefit us, wouldn't it? It would be way more significant and positive than the rest of the shit he's pulling us in his stupid life. Go to your room now. I want to talk to you alone. Dickhead. Following a series of shots to emphasise Anthony's guilt, I had intended to create a 2-minute montage, in the vein of neo-realist filmmakers, such as those I encountered in my research. The montage would have been purposely untheatrical and low budget, and would have shown Ben being part of a gang and beginning to consume drugs and alcohol outside of school despite his young age. The montage would have emphasised how this led to increased ostracisation. It would have ended with a close-up shot of him carrying a knife, a symbol of the oppressive nature of capitalist violence. Following this, as a juxtaposition, I would have shown another montage that focused instead on Anthony and his increased struggles as his loneliness forced him to reckon with the crippling guilt of his superego. Such a montage would have concluded with the mirror motif returning as a symbol of his own guilt, before he breaks down in tears as Ben arrives home. They would have exchanged a cold look as the montage concluded. Although it initially would have been juxtaposed against only 30 seconds of pillow shots, the changes in format of my film mean that the pillow shots will now last slightly longer. My hope is that the silence can stimulate thought and reflection about the meaning of such themes. Dad, I can't use my hands. Open the door. Please. Please, Dad. Please. Who did this to you? It was your old gang. I got involved with them by accident. We're friends. When they found out who I was, they did this, and they've said they'll kill me if you don't come face them. I think it's bollocks, but it scared me. I'll find them now then. Dad, please don't. As you said earlier, I must do it. Not to cleanse my guilt, but for you. No, Dad, please, no! Oh, Christ. As a tragic summary of this film's devastating reflection on the inevitable tragedy of a life ruled by greed, and the relationship between the id and the superego as one that cannot be subverted or avoided, this section concludes with a noiresque fight sequence in a shady alleyway that shows Anthony confronting his old gang, and unfortunately being killed by them in a fight. He smiles as he accepts death, and the screen fades to black. Finally, the film concludes with the same motif as before, of the woman rising to answer her door when she hears a knock. However, this time, we see who she opens the door to. She opens the door to a man who smiles at her, and, after an awkward silence, the two embrace each other and walk away into the distance. This final shot represents the cumulative message of my film, which, although in its nuance it does advocate naturally for the necessity of moral decisions to avoid the tragic hero lifestyle, is that life and death are inevitable and cannot be avoided, which is a message that initially seems pessimistic, but is really an optimistic reinforcement of how we need to make the most of our lives and impact the world for our moral decisions. An integral aesthetic of reality is one that acknowledges our own failings, but also one that shows how we still have the capability for positive social change.